want to pour this drink then?
Okay. Thank you. Oh.
I am live. Live?
Hello.
Yeah, live.
Hello, chat. We are back.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
I like that jumper, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes, we're back, and it is a good jumper.
More of
It
a
goes
car,
with the
really.
Right, so we're back. The team just had some fun trying to defend a manor when they found out that the baby in the manor was an illusion. Then there was a quick tussle with a cat getting vanished, resulting in them chasing an invisible opponent who only Bree could see before Bree got turned into a snail and promptly stepped on by a tiefling while searching for her, the assailant having escaped, pretty badly hurt, judging by the amount of damage. But team are now a little bit nonplussed and a bit worse for wear in terms of spell slots, although not really injured. Okay, we get back to everyone standing on the edge of a river.
The moment Brialana kind of like whoosh, out of the ground, kind of slightly covered in mud. How did you describe her return to normal form? As in, like, you know, lying on the ground with tulips thrown back in surprise, or full standing size tulips catapulted off because he was standing on it?
Leaf in her mouth, feet like a couple of inches deep in the mud, and tulips sort of thrown backwards because he was kind of off balance when suddenly an elf appeared.
Suddenly, elf. It's always the way. Bloody elves.
Blasted polymorph. And she immediately gets up and starts looking for a trail of blood.
You don't see a trail of blood.
Of course not.
Melfast steps out from the shadows from nearby while this is happening. He's both an arrow knocked, but not really drawn. And this is his eyes are on Brian, and he says, "I've been looking for footprints. I couldn't see any in the mud, other than ours." And then, are you okay?
I'm pissed. Let's go back to the house.
Yeah, fine plan.
There's no trail here. There's no blood. I know I stabbed it at least twice. Burned it multiple times with magical fire and regular fire, apparently regular fire. And no blood. No trail. Nothing. We need to at least go and make sure that the family's all right.
Yeah. Malphas, a bit dejected, walks over, offers down a hand to Tulips to help him up off the ground, and just kind of mentions, "Nice moves. You stepped on it, dude."
He shrugs and says, "It worked, didn't it?"
Malphas grudgingly accepts that as, well, yes, okay, but starts heading off.
Okay.
On the way back, she kind of leans over to Malphas and says, "I am completely tapped out of spells. I have nothing left but cantrips."
It's fine. I don't think we're going to get anywhere tonight. It must be coming on witching hour anyway, and I don't particularly want to be fighting a witch at witching hour. We may as well just find somewhere to rest and recuperate for the night.
I think they'll probably allow us as guests at the noble house. Let's see what the situation is when we get there.
Yeah, well, hopefully Rhaegar didn't land on the baby. He landed pretty close from what I could see when I was leaping over him, but...
At this point, can I assume, given that Malphas joined, that she's realized that the whole Malphas saying, "There's more of them, we need you back here," was a trick? Because she's intelligent?
Yeah, you could have...
For the sake of simplicity.
Honestly,
Well, was them
they were running for quite a while to catch up. There's a good few minutes of them walking back with, for the sake of brevity, Malphas will have talked through everything that he saw from his perspective, just because that's the most intelligent thing to do. They're dealing with an invisible magical assailant. It's probably wise to, go over everything. So at some point, Malphas will say, and then I'm assuming the Malphas heard this as well, or was this literally in her head? Either way, the truth would come to light.
You wouldn't have heard it over the sound of the rain from where you were. It was pretty far down the trail by the time it started.
I would have told him.
Yeah, well, at that point, he'll just say, well, no, I didn't. But anyway, so they're back. What state of the manor? What state is the manor in when they arrive?
You get back and you notice that the two guards are standing outside Jim and the slightly shorter one around the door, which is closed, but a little bit worse for wear with the few hammer blows that Rhaegar took to it. Mm-hmm. They just nod and immediately open the door for you. As you go in, you notice that the family are sitting around with Rhaegar standing there, fingering his hammer, looking around nervously as they console the baby.
Before
quiet down.
Yeah,
now.
before Malphas steps inside and Braylana might go on, he just pauses and nods to the guards and said, "Was anyone in the house hurt? Any servants? Anyone?"
Shake their head.
Okay, well, keep your eyes peeled because we weren't able to stop it. We winged it, we think. Hard to know with mages, but whatever it is, it's still out there. So, double shifts tonight, I'm afraid. And then he walks in.
You walk in and the Southern girl appears nearby, very bleary-eyed, wearing what is effectively a very quickly put on maid outfit she has. Which looks very much like it was very quickly put on, like she was very much woken in the middle of the night by screaming, and says, "Can I get you something?"
Looking at the situation, Malphas waves away and says, "In a moment, we'll just take stock for now." And before he steps further in, he looks down at his muddy feet and prestidigitates the mud and moisture from his boots before stepping further in.
Yeah,
mud gone, sweat gone.
I'm assuming that
was probably instinctually doing this on the way back.
Yeah. Malphas hasn't cleaned the rest of him. He's cleaned the bare minimum not to dirty the house, but he's like, I was just out fighting for your baby's life. You can live with it if I'm dirty.
Okay.
If anything, Malphas was doing it just so the servant girl didn't have to clean up after him. He doesn't really care about the lords and ladies.
The lady gets up as soon as you walk in, passes the baby to her wife.
Her wife?
Her husband.
I like this progressive couple. This is good. This is a poly couple.
To her husband and walks over to you and immediately grabs Briolana by the hand and says, "Thank you so much. What was it? Did you get it?"
Unfortunately, not. We nearly did, but it did get away. I don't know what it was. Can I do an Arcana check to have any idea what we're up against?
You mean you want to think who or what it was?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a fair amount of information on, I have a fair amount of information on what its abilities were, what it was doing, what it sounded like.
I mean, if you want to list along with Malphas and brainstorm together, I'll let you both make rolls. And you can sort of do it as a team exercise.
Okay. Well, Malphas will probably be more of a... I think we can think through this when we have a moment to recover and take stock. But for the time being, we need to work out what we're doing here right now. The assailant got away, wounded though it may have been. We don't know how wounded, for all we know. It could just be a few hours worth of healing.
In theory, there was blood on the rapier that I would have been able to see.
You look at the rapier. There was no blood on the rapier.
Well, I would have cleaned it by now, but
there wasn't blood to clean.
Good to know. It doesn't bleed, whatever it was. It doesn't make a sound. It's not visible. I don't know what you just said.
There's no blood on the ground where you stabbed it, and there's also the churned up mud around where you were fighting. The only churned up mud is from your footprints.
Great.
It did displace the water, though.
Did it?
Oh, didn't it? Did we not see that?
Just about think you could see that, but it is very difficult to tell in a running river at night.
I could be completely wrong on that because I seem to remember that it was said that it did. If that was a mistake, that's my mistake as a player.
You think it displaced the water. It's very difficult to see, but you think it maybe did. You notice that it did not. There was no like foam splashing or anything.
Okay. Well, if I was seeing right, it did leave an impression in the water, so it might be hovering, but it's not without substance. I mean, obviously you know that you stabbed it, but still.
And it's not a civilized humanoid. It
moves as quickly as a humanoid.
Had innate abilities that allowed it to be invisible and unseen, unheard.
Malphas
fracking bleed.
Makes his way over to Rhaegar, looks him over and he said, "You all right? I saw you take a nasty tumble out of the window."
Can we roll now?
He looks a little bit bashful. In a sec. And says, "Yeah, I'm all right.
Okay,
but it's fine."
And looking to the others, I assume the guardsmen had a thorough investigation of the room while we were gone. Did they find anything that might help us work out what this was?
You asked them, they say that no, they didn't really find anything. The window obviously was ajar, and a swing in the wind. Obviously, that's how they think it got in. It's definitely how it got out. Other than that, they're not too certain.
Can
Well,
Malphas or Tulips cast Detect Magic? I know somebody has previously, but I don't know who it was.
Tulips might be able to. Malphas doesn't.
I have a character sheet available for Tulips. I don't know if he had Detect Magic.
Malphas does not. Malphas just has a good Arcana check, but that's it.
Okay.
But
Rhaegar.
The only other thing I can add to it is that it moved about the same speed as you or I. So if it weren't under the effect of some sort of magical cantrip, a spell, or something like that, then it has a similar gait, similar size, if that is of any consequence.
It spoke to me briefly. Had spell casting ability of some
Sounded
strength.
female.
It was often referred to as a woman by the GM.
And thus, Malphas believes...
The voice was a... It was probably female.
I love how you picked up how Malphas came to that conclusion. Oh, yeah, EE said it. Yeah, as it happens.
But at the same time, like you just said, probably female.
Haggard and full of hate and scorn. Kind of a bit of a raspy, slightly older voice.
Besides its innate magical effects, what little I know of invisibility doesn't work the way it seemed to be working there. Whether it was invisible or there was some other machination that was keeping it from my sight, perhaps I simply couldn't bring myself to see it. It's not always your eyes that are unwilling. Sometimes you can't hold a thing in your mind. Voshkar often used to speak of such things. But whatever it was, it chose to attack you physically. Yes, you got turned into a snail in the end, but I suspect that was a last-ditch effort for it to escape. It was clear enough you were the one that could see it, and I was simply reacting to where you struck it. It was at that point that it took you out with magic. But up to that point, it was trying to hit you. Doesn't sound like many wizards I know. Yourself excluded from that statement.
Sorry, I'm reading about arcane spell recovery.
That's all right.
Okay. If you don't have any more things to add, you can roll. If you want to list some more points that I know you've got in your mind, then I can adjust the DC.
Well, by talking about it casting spells, I'm talking about it, it slashed at my familiar and killed it. Don't worry, she'll come back. And
unfortunately.
And was able to create an illusion of the baby that it left behind. It can climb. It can swim.
You will note that when it was swimming, it was underwater for a good deal of time there. It mainly spent a lot of its time under the surface. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Malphas wouldn't be aware of that, but Yeah, that's all Malphus had to add. I mean, he couldn't see it. He was reacting mostly to things and just drawing conclusions such as how quickly it was moving, and thus, trying to, draw conclusions about its height, its gait, obvious things that you can draw. But Brialana was the only one that had any kind of even tangential, direct sensory input from the thing.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much everything.
Sure. In which case, you can both roll Arcana. Note that the DC will be slightly higher for Malthus because he hasn't seen a lot of the stuff directly, but he has talked about it with Bree. So the DC is only going to be a tiny bit higher for Malthus.
Malphus got an 8, which is terrible.
Malthus.
14.
20.
6, 20.
20.
14 plus 6, yeah.
You have heard tales of these humanoid old women who live alone or with others in seclusion. It's not a beholder.
It's not a beholder.
What is it? What?
And you've heard them referred to as hags.
I figured.
So did I. Crone hag, something like
It's
that.
what you think so far, because hags tend to steal away babies or young children, and they are also cannibals. To an extent that not cannibals in that they like to eat hags, they like to eat humans, or elves, or dwarves, or hobbits. They really like to eat young humanoids. They will eat most humanoids, but they especially like to eat young humanoids. And in particular, they reproduce by eating a relatively young baby, at which point the hag becomes pregnant and then gives birth to, effectively, a young child who looks human until it reaches about 16 years of age, at which point it transforms into a hag. Hags live either alone or in threes. They never live in more than 3 because they will end up in a fight, and it's very rare to find them in 2s. And there are several different types of hags. There can be hags like green hags, or there can be sea hags, or there can be I think they're grey hags or something. Grey hags in particular like to go ethereal and steal souls. Sea hags are very much drawn to large bodies of water, etc., and are a horrible visage to look upon, almost scaring people to death. Whereas green hags are a little bit more common.
Can they assume a human appearance?
Hags can assume a human appearance at will. They can mimic voices, and they can turn invisible at will, at which point their invisibility also does not leave a trace of their passing, which would explain why they do not leave any blood or footprints.
What's the name of this town? Again?
The town.
I forget.
Greenham.
Greenham.
Yeah.
Is that it? Okay. I'm assuming the Brialana has just basically listed off all of this information that she seems to recall about hags.
I'm gonna, make the part about eating babies a little more private, but yeah.
At that point, Malphas just pulls out the Tome of Human History, holds up his hand, and asks, "Can you throw me a gold coin?"
I throw him a gold coin.
Pops it in. He says, let's think of the way we're going to word this. The town's name is
hang on. I do one better. I throw him a platinum.
Wow. Well, at that point, holding the platinum, he simply hands the platinum back, and the tome says, "For that, you can ask the question."
I don't know what you were going to ask, but it seemed important.
Well, this is a human town. This is the Tome of Human History. Whilst there does seem to have been a history of this happening for a time, perhaps it goes further back than some of the people that we've talked to. I was going to ask it.
All right. He's here. She hands you 10 gold coins.
Okay.
And the platinum.
Okay.
I'm going to take a short rest. Try and regain some of my spells, because without it, I'm of little use.
Okay. The Dad, turning to the Lord and Lady, could my companion, have you got a guest room that my companion could use to compose herself?
If
Yes.
it's all right, I'll do it in the child's room.
Sure. Yes. There's a chair up there. I can have the serving girl bring you some sort of folder.
Just a cushion.
Oh, okay. Sure. And she just hands you a cushion.
Okay.
The Lord looks at you and says to all of you, if you want to stop here for the night, feel free to use the guest bedroom. The closer you are, the better.
Understood. That is actually what I would have liked to have suggested. So that's wonderful. I have no plans on leaving the manor for the night. I'd either be patrolling outside or staying in here where it's a little drier. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if I can get away with it, I'll do a short rest, cast Find Familiar, and do a long rest.
Okay, that will take you effectively a short rest and then a long rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine then.
Okay.
It would take 9 hours instead of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But most of that time isn't actually meditating or anything like that. It's just.
Yeah. Just being in a zen-like state of just not doing anything taxing or thinking particularly hard about things, studying. Yeah, that's fine. Malthus, did you want to do anything?
Well, actually, given that...
Bree, by the way, you'll note that generally when Hag uses an attack or casts a spell, when it's in its form, its invisible form, the invisibility usually does break. It can put it back at will, but it usually would become visible.
Flicker, effectively.
But it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
That's problematic.
Okay.
I
Right.
make sure that Malphus knows that.
Fantastic. Right, well, Malphus is going to ask a question of the tome. Possibly a few. He's got 10 gold coins to do it with.
And a platinum.
And a platinum, yeah.
So you've got 10 to line up to figure out the question that you need to answer, and platinum to answer that.
Okay, well, Malphus will probably excuse himself to a study or the dining room or somewhere where he, Tulips, and Rhaegar can sort of just sit without possibly talking about gruesome details around the family. And the first question, I'll start simple. Tell me of any events in the town of Greenham related to missing children.
Okay, and this is the gold.
Yeah.
So make a history check at +3.
Okay, and history is naturally intelligence, so it's +5. Is that right? I add my intelligence bonus because it's a history check, and then +3. Yeah. 22. 17 + 5.
22. The book opens, the pages begin to ripple as if in a wind. It flicks through and it stops on a page and writing appears. And there's a little circle in the center at the edge. Says, press here.
Mm-hmm.
You can press it if you want for it to speak the words, or you can read it.
Yes, I press it. Malphus is lazy.
Welcome to Reginald's Compendium. You have asked about missing children in Greenham. Children in Greenham have been missing for the last 30 years. It is a noted thing that one guard by the name of Jim Hawthorne, I had to make my last name on the spot, has written about in quite some detail, having sent messages and missives to local mayors, to lords, ladies, and even some librarians asking for historical records. At least 5 children are known to have been disappeared in Greenham since then, although one of them was chalked down to a wild dog attack, although no proof has been found. These children, it goes on to list the children, their addresses, etc. This was all within the last 30 years. Before that, there are only scant records of the occasional child going missing, usually under not so scary or random circumstances without reason.
Okay. So we know there are
And
5.
it's the odd child that's gone missing for 500 years, and there's not many.
Okay. So
And the dates don't clumped.
all right.
There is one small clump about 120 years ago, but it's only about 4 children in the space of about 5 years.
So how far back does this book record the existence of Greenham from that? Basically, how long ago was the earliest occurrence that it lists? Because Malphas will be able to deduce that Greenham has existed for at least that many years.
It lists back about 450 years, at which point it says Greenham first founded.
Okay. Right.
Records begin.
Records begin. That's fine. And about 120 years ago, there was a cluster of children. Now, unfortunately, Malphas will pay attention to that if a lot of them happened reasonably close. Are there any any obvious patterns in the dates? Like they went missing every year or anything like that, or every X many years? Any pattern in the numbers?
Roughly every year for about 5 years.
Roughly every year for 5 years, 5
years, all went missing about once every year and a half. Sporadically through that 5 years, one child went missing every year.
Sorry, could you say that again?
So during 5 years, 4 children went missing.
Mm-hmm.
One went missing every year and a half.
For the last 5 years, is that right? Or that was
5 years, 120 years ago.
Right. Okay, so that's a good pattern. If it's roughly 1 year apart, then that's. I mean, it's not an amazing pattern, but it at least gives us something. And what's the pattern of the 5 missing children over the last 30 years, if any?
Sorry, I didn't mean 30. I don't know why I said 30. I've got wrong date I'm looking at here.
Oh,
It's 8 years. 30. The last 8 years, 5 children missing, one every year to a year and a half, one every year to 2 years.
So again, the same pattern,
Roughly.
effectively. Okay,
They're
right.
spaced out-ish.
Right. Okay. Okay. Again, another simple question, asking any reference to hags in the last 200 years of Greenham's history.
You put a coin in, a gold coin?
Yep. It'll all be gold until I say otherwise. Oh, balls.
Okay.
It's 9. It's 4 plus
9. Pages ripple, and you press it for the voice, and it says, there are occasional rantings by a scholar who was quickly dismissed as insane that there were hags here 120 years ago in Greenham. These have been widely disputed and have been thought to be generally a myth perpetuated by the witch hunts of the era.
Okay, what does it give the name of the scholar?
Sure, it lists him as Derek Forthinus.
Okay. This would be so much easier if I could bounce ideas off Tulips and Rika. Those sods sleeping in the corner.
Now, do whatever you think is best, Malphas.
Resisting the urge to chip Tulip's horn. Malphas thinks the best thing he could do is ask more questions.
So, do hags age?
Hags generally are presumed not to age, or if they do age, they age incredibly slowly. I believe they don't age, or they age incredibly slowly. For your purposes, both would be believed to be true.
Okay.
They are generally regarded as immortal or almost close to immortal.
But they get to the age of 6 and then bam, old woman.
It's about 16, but yeah.
No, I thought you said 6. Sorry.
They look a little bit younger, clearer skin slightly, but even then we're talking warty, green, or, sort of purplish gray for night hags, or blue with sort of strands of kelp that drape them in the case of sea hags. But they do get slightly visibly older to a point, and then they effectively just
hags. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. What else can we ask? So we asked about hags in Greenham. Okay, another simple one. Asking simply for the history of Derek Forthenus.
Derek Thorthenus was a scholar believed to have existed roughly 120 years ago. His writings are somewhat of a theological and...
Before you give me too much information, as much as I was amused by the idea of it, the good player in me is like, no. I haven't rolled. So all of the rest could be prefaced. So I'm going to roll now.
You can roll.
And
very good player.
Know what it says. 14, 9 plus 5.
His writings were mostly related to theological or thamological evidence that he believed to be fact, which was relatively postulated at the time to be poppycock. This load of intellectual frivolities has generally not been accepted by the wider magical and theological community, although a couple of his ideas have skirted on some of the more advanced theories of this age. He died after being torn apart in his home and it gives you a date, which is about 118 years ago.
Okay, torn apart by what? Does it mention it?
No, it doesn't say.
Okay. Well, that's 4 questions. 3 questions so far. What else could we ask? I'm assuming that just for brevity, Malthus would have inquired after possibly getting a quill and some parchment. I'm assuming that
You brought
noble, yeah, fantastic. So he's jotting all these notes down as he's getting the useful information from the book, or what he can best decipher from it. Okay, he's gonna pose another question to the book. He's talked about children going missing. At this point, he's going to ask, give me any records of children being run out of town due to and the reasons. He's going to be looking through the records at length for anything that looks like, because he can't put it in such a way, because frightened people might be like, go away, you look ugly, or you're casting magic, get out. But if he looks through them all, or just, you're a thief, bugger off, he might be able to find, well, that one looks suspicious, that one might have been a hag, that one might have been weird, that one aged really suddenly and then started eating children, that was obviously a hag, but people might not have recorded it as being a hag. It's just like, the crazy cannibalist child, let's get rid of him. So he's asking that, and then he's going to look through the information records. You don't have to list everything out, if he even gets a good roll. Please give me a good roll. 15 plus 5, 20.
20. It notes at length, just for brevity's sake, it notes several different children who, at one point or another, have been accused of witches. There were a few, roughly 130 to 110 years ago, when sort of the witch hunts were going on in this area. Mm-hmm. It does note a few children who were mostly burned at the stake or run out of town, depending on circumstances at the time. It does mention one who was green of skin and warty and was thought to be a plague victim about 250 years ago. Pushing it. That was during the time where there was a plague down roughly where the south of the Miran Republic is currently, and it was causing a lot of hysteria, but it never really spread to these lands. But a lot of people did get run out of town over it.
Okay. And
there are a few other references, but mostly due to people basically taking up arms against a thief and just running out of town before the city watch bothered to do anything or even existed in some cases.
Okay. Well, at this point, I'm out of ideas. There's no point in me wasting Breilana's money asking vague questions when I don't have any further aim for them. So he writes down all of the information he's got, and which is literally that 5 children have gone missing over the past 8 years, roughly a year to year and a half between, and that there were 5 years, 120 years ago, where every year a child went missing. That Greenham was founded 450 years ago. That there was a scholar. Oh, go ahead.
Have any children gone missing and then been found?
Well, given that what Malphite is about to do, I'll leave that, because what he's doing, he's noting down everything of any information, useful information he got from it, like the 250 years ago, a plague victim, and it might be the first instance of something like this. And he leaves the money.
50 years ago does match up with the date of one of the children who went missing. And it's the same name.
So he would have cross-referenced it. So one child went missing, one child came back. Okay, well he'll mark that down.
It's the same child, and the name is listed as Enya Gray.
What a beautiful name. Okay, well, Malphite writes all of this down, leaves the gold there. He's asked 4 questions, so he's used 4 gold. So there's 6 gold and a platinum remaining. Tells Tulips and Rhaegar to watch it. Malphite is now going to go and have a rest, because this would have taken probably about the same amount of time that it would have taken Breilana to have her short rest. He's now going to go and take, or maybe he'll be into it, but he's going to go and take a long rest. Probably ask the servant girl to run him a bath or something, and then just, chill out, then go rest, restore his spells, and leave instructions for Breilana, who will probably get up before him, to continue if she can find any other questions to ask, but he's basically exhausted what he can think of. Okay. So I shall now consider him resting. At long last. Very well deserved. Oh, he's knackered. He's tired deep down in his bones. He feels like an old demon. It's terrible.
I would just advise the nobles to keep the child with them when they sleep. Don't let the child out of your sight or your hands.
Yep. Okay. You wait, you sleep, you rest, you meditate. Bree, as soon as you open your eyes from meditating, you notice that next to you is a glass of water, and a couple of slices of very nice bread, and a lump of meat, and some vegetables, and some cheese.
And my cat.
Where do you think the meat came from?
And that's who the meat's for as well.
She really starts going for the meat. Malphite, when you awake, you find roughly the same thing. Slightly thicker piece of meat, and also a half tankard of ale.
Oh. All right. Yeah, sure. Last night was a bit rough. Malphite has the drinks tankard. And he pretty much eats everything that is meat and leaves everything else.
What? Oh, now you want meat? Is that what you're telling me?
No, she's opting to be meat.
What? I'm not sure that would go down very well. Cats aren't cannibals, are they? They might be, actually. Okay, so with that, I'm going to assume that Malphite he's going to take his time. He's going to enjoy having a rest. So that, once he's done, then he comes on stage. Has Breilana asked any further questions of the tome? No. Then, that's all they have at the moment to name Enya Gray. Though, actually, asking for one of the gold pieces back, he just slots her into the tome and says, History of Enya Gray.
Okay, make a history check.
20 again, 15 plus 5.
Okay, this will take quite some time. You will need to read through, because there are a lot of names here. And you will be cross-referencing as you go through the history it gives you. It does give you history of about 700 years. Varying in frequency is the name, varies in frequency. It also gives you people who assume the pseudonym,
do it again or add another coin and narrow it down to this town.
Make an investigation check as you go through the list.
Okay. Thing is, that hag might not have only been operating in this town, which is why I didn't narrow it. We want 2 because of my investigation. It's probably going to be bad, isn't it? 11 plus 2, 13. Could be worse.
13. You do have a lot of time to do this. You do have a name, you do have a large list, and very slowly you begin to see that the name Enya Gray, particularly starting about 250 years ago, does appear in a few towns in this area, does appear back in this town about 120 years ago, and notably, it does note the pub The Circle Inn was set up 8 years ago, the present day, by Enya Gray, along with co-founder Diana Gray and Pandora Gray.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it to the extent that I almost said, do I have any inkling that it's the midwife and the innkeeper?
Well, yeah, I didn't think of the innkeeper because I'd forgotten the whole sisters thing, but Malphas was basically looking to try and find out if it was the midwife.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as things to go on, this is pretty good. In terms of hard evidence, it's nothing. But as much
Is anybody else in the room?
Well, other than Rhaegar and Tulips, I imagine not.
Yeah, I assume you're basically having a war council.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rhaegar's there, then I won't say it.
I'm not of a particular mind to have 3 potentially innocent women burned alive. But we could burn one of them and find out if she's a hag. And then we'll know if the other 2 are as well.
Other 2?
It lists 3 sisters. Enya Gray. I forgot the names of the other 2, but Malphas would have been writing them
Diana
down.
Gray and Pandora Gray.
So the inn was founded by 3 sisters.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Put a gold into the tome and ask for death records. Recent death records. See if one of those names is on the list. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The
certainly.
hags only habitate in 3 at most. They only take babies when they want to reproduce. One of them may have died, and now they're replacing.
Okay, so you want the death records of the Grey family. Enya Gray, Diana Gray, and Pandora Gray. Of the Greys.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll roll again.
Toadcoder, I will go to the market and find a duck. A duck.
All right.
And a large set of scales.
Yep, if they weigh less than a duck.
Yes, exactly. Exactly so.
So I've got 16. 11 plus 5.
It gives you a list of the Grey family. It lists all Grey families it can for quite some time. And there is a large list come through.
Okay.
You do notice it mentions a Grey family who lived in these parts about 250 years ago.
Okay.
It mentions that 2 of the girls went missing and another girl was run out of town. It does mention a few other Grey families. Now we know what you're looking for. It noticed that there was a Grey family of 3. Enyo, Dinero, and Penfredo, which are bastardizations of Diana, Enya, and Pandora from 220 years ago, who moved back here, and they were running a textiles manufactory at the time.
Okay.
They moved on about 120, 119 years ago, and they came back, or a new family, you suspect, came back 8 years ago here to set up a tavern.
Well, this is even more damning than it was before.
You do note there are several records in other towns of people you could suspect to be the same family. You're not sure.
Okay. Well, what should we do with this information?
It does note that one of them, 120 years ago, they were attacked or something. It just mentions that they were attacked. It does mention that Pandora Grey suffered a life-threatening injury to the head from some form of spell or arcana. And
Yes, well, the others are about to as well.
Okay. Well, how should we proceed? This sort of thing, in a town that has been grieving, there are at least 5 families that, in the last 8 years, that are probably going to be out for blood. We could easily cite them. I'm fairly certain that I could talk quite a few people into throwing themselves at them, but it's how we want to deal with this. Would that be the best way? I'm not sure. Inciting a mob, well, it certainly reduces the risk to myself. It would increase the risk to everyone else. Just running them out isn't good enough. We need to kill them all.
Or they'll come back.
Indeed. We only need to leave one. If what you've told me about Hags is the case, then if one is alive, then it could continue coming back, and next time it'll use a different pseudonym. Alias, rather. Pseudonym. Wrong word. Stupid English. Malphite doesn't speak common too well. Damn it.
I don't even know. What do I know about the sorts of dens that hags make?
Sea hags tend to go for dank, dark, sometimes underwater, sometimes sort of water lapping in caves or other places like that. They tend to really want a lot of moisture or water. Night hags and green hags have a fairly common choice. They tend to go for caves or sometimes things like disused cellars, etc. But they tend to prefer places out the way where they don't have to mingle with society a bit too much. You will note that from what you know of hags don't tend to always be in full view, whereas the tavern owner and
The midwife.
are a little bit more in full view than is typical for hags.
But the hag also was able to stay.
Brayalana, do you know anything of hag matriarchs? Is there such a thing? There are certain creatures where there is a dominant figure that is an exemplar of their kind.
I don't know. Let me think.
Generally, hag covens are all people who think themselves equals. They obviously think themselves better than the others, but generally they work on a roughly equal system.
Okay.
And it does allow them to actually share their spellcasting ability as a coven. When they're all together, they can use more powerful spells. Whereas generally when they're individuals, they don't have as powerful of spells, especially green hags. Night hags are a little bit tougher, and they've got a bit more spellcasting ability. But generally, things like green hags don't have actually much in the way of spell firepower unless they're all fairly close to each other.
Well, in theory, one of them is sorely wounded at the moment.
And without having all 3 in that radius, they can't use those more powerful spells.
What was the name of the owner of the antiquities shop, the curio shop?
Jennifer Black.
Okay. It means little, but it's another name that is a color.
I don't know. Black is a shade of gray.
I'm going to title this episode 3 Shades of Grey.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Okay, well, should we inform the Lord and Lady of what we believe we've discovered? I feel that the evidence is reasonable. Certainly enough that I would be willing to act, but...
But act how? Might we not be better keeping this information and using it as a surprise somehow. You know, luring out.
Certainly, but it would be significantly easier if we informed the Lord and Lady of our plan and had them. They have a very solid reason to have the midwife attend the Lord or attend the child. If we could isolate one of them.
If we can convince them that it's worth the risk, that if we can convince them to be rational rather than emotional about this, but this is their baby.
Yes.
And that makes it very tricky.
Well, we could just set the mob on them. They'll just run them out of town. They were able to fend you off. I have little doubt that they'd be able to escape an angry mob of peasants. I can't conceive of any reason to have the midwife and her sisters, one of whom we haven't been introduced to, attend anything. There's plenty of opportunities that we'd be able to deal with the serving, the innkeeper and the midwife. But that leaves Pandora, was it? I don't recall. I don't know what the name of the women are. But
How long ago was that one mortally wounded?
120 years ago.
All right.
It seemed like a mortal wound. It didn't say whether she did die or not.
Yeah.
But it did. But it also said that Enya, Diana, and Pandora Grey set up the inn 8 years ago. So.
Yeah.
Right.
In terms of the wound, it says she took a seemingly mortal wound to the head from some sort of arcane spell.
Okay.
So it's possible. So wait. The mortal wound was 120 years ago, but the inn opened 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. That's weird.
It's reasonable to assume that whether they're able to act openly or not, they are going to want vengeance. That diminishes our ability to spring a trap on them. They're going to be on guard whilst we're around them. Whether they let us know that or not, they will be.
It's true.
It seems the only way we're going to be able to do this is to lure them. Perhaps we could make a show of leaving. We've done what we can. We drove her off. Perhaps the Lord and Lady could make a show of whatever threat has been dismissed. We leave. We return under the cover of darkness. We wait. They've tried twice to take this child. There's no reason to believe they won't try a third time.
Are there any other babies in the town at present?
I'd say ask the midwife, but that seems like we wouldn't get a straight answer. We can throw another gold piece into the tome, or...
Have you found any other meals? No, not a question to ask. I'm of a mind to try and find their den, particularly during the day. I'm also of a mind to go and purchase that fairy fire scroll we found in the magic shop, but it would take me too long to describe it. And then it's only one use if we don't, so...
Unless that strange printing machine.
I don't think it'll work on magic scrolls. It's a nice thought, though. If it does work on magic scrolls, then you found a money minter.
Perhaps. Curiosity to bring Dvoshka, but for now, we need to do something. We're tarrying too long. We either inform the Lord and Lady of what we suspect is the truth and involve them in this, or we leave, because, frankly, I do not believe that anything we could do outside of laying a trap, which we cannot do alone, is going to do anything that, other than put a lot of people at risk and simply drive these hags into hiding again.
I think you're right. I think that that's our best option, is letting them know and playing it by ear.
Before we do, we should inquire after Pandora. We don't know who she is. They might. The Three Sisters open a tavern. Someone's going to know.
Well, we've also got a book here that might tell us.
I suspect it would be cheaper to ask the Lord and Lady who inhabit their lands, but I'm fine with either.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Let's tell them.
Right. Okay. We ask for a private word with the Lord and Lady.
They say, "Oh, yes, okay. Well, the midwife is just changing the child at the moment, so yes, we have."
Did I not say not to let the baby out of your hands? And I rush off to wherever the midwife would be changing the baby.
You would assume the baby's room, or possibly the laboratory.
I stopped long enough to say where, quickly.
Upstairs, the bathroom opposite.
Run up.
The window is open again.
Of course. Detect magic. How fresh?
Talking 5 minutes. That sort of era. By now, you're pretty familiar with this, and this is not the strong detection you had last night. This one is the one you got from previously that was more muted.
Malphas follows only far enough, and he's calling out to her. What is the child there? The moment I'm assuming it's not. The moment she says it's not, Malphas goes to the Lord and Lady.
Running back down and tell him they're both gone.
Rouse the guard. Have them meet us at the inn. If you're fast about it, your child may still be there. And he's already moving out the door. And before he stops, he turns around and says, "It's the midwife."
Might not be at the inn.
It's the only place we have to look.
Technically have a trail. This is a slight after image. Doesn't last very long, but there is an.
Follow me, and let's go.
Okay. Jim and the short guard are still there. They immediately rush to follow you.
They'll end up dead. It's fine.
Tries to follow you, but he stags a bit as he tries to pick up the broadsword that was hanging on the wall.
Okay.
And he tries to keep up with you, but he's lagging behind the group.
What was that? The Lord was following. Was that right?
Yeah.
Did you say?
At which point the one Anne Harlock rushes out to meet him, grabs the sword off him, has some words with him. You can't tell because you're a little bit far away. He doesn't seem to be taking it particularly well, but he does head back towards the house, and Anne Harlock, now not wearing a dress, comes down to meet you carrying the sword.
Okay.
She looks confident.
Yeah, pretty much. Assessing her, but regardless, Malphas says, "We believe there are 3 hags. We believe it's the sisters who set up the tavern, the midwife, the Enya, Diana, Pandora. Where do they live?"
Pandora? That's the sister. She's a recluse. She hasn't been seen in years.
Where was she last seen? Does she have a cabin in the woods? Anything?
She lived with the sisters at the inn.
Well, let's hope you're right. And that they've headed back there with your child.
Following the trail.
Okay, you're saying this as you're rushing, I assume. You dash down, following the trail. You get to the inn. You notice the trail goes...
As we're heading down there, Malphas turns to... what was her name? Something Harlock again? I forget. Lady Harlock.
Anne Harlock.
Lady
Anne Harlock.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brianna.
I am going to hand Tulips the potion of invisibility that was in the bag of holding and say, go to Black's, get that scroll of fairy fire. Use this as collateral. Tell her we'll come back and pay any difference. Explain that this was found in the bag of holding that she sent me. She'll hopefully take it as a sign of trust and honesty. We will pay her back for that scroll. We need it now. Go.
Okay, and he rushes off. Okay. That was Tulips you sent, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say Lady Harlock, but that actually gets Tulips out of the way, which is going to make your job
We don't know
easier.
what his spells are. He can use it.
Yeah.
Show up in a clutch story moment, and it'll be great.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay, you rush down, you get to the front door. That's where the trail effectively ends. The inn actually has a sign saying close for business on the front door. There are no lights inside.
But are there windows?
There are indeed windows. And they are shuttered, but the shutters here do not fit as well as the ones on the Lord and Lady's Manor.
Okay, well, Malphas says, I'm going to look around back, see if there's a basement or another way that they could leave this building if they're inside. And
Chances are there's a cellar.
Moves off to do the same thing.
Okay, you go around, you notice that there is a sort of a bigger but less fashionable door at the back, which is generally used for loading off carts and so on.
Okay.
It does appear to be locked from the inside, as far as you can tell.
Okay, well...
there's a closed sign on the door, but is it locked? The front door.
The front is locked, yeah.
And it's a relatively sturdy door, but the windows aren't.
Okay.
There, go ahead.
Right, well, for Malphas then, he's just going to take out his thieves' tools and he's going to try and pick the lock on the door at the back.
Okay, roll for it.
Okay.
And
that would be 3 plus my dexterity, is that right? My proficiency with thieves' tools, which is 3 plus my dexterity.
Yeah.
Ah, 12. Why did you betray me so? 8.
Unfortunately, it's a pretty heavy door. In fact, the problem with your lockpicks is they were designed for fine work, and this door is like particularly just brute force, stout iron lock. Here.
Can I see any windows at the back? Any handholds or anything at the top? Any windows at the top that aren't shuttered?
Nope, they're all shuttered, I'm afraid. They're not particularly well-fitting shutters. Yes, Bree?
the guard had keys for all the houses. Does he have a key for this?
He starts going through his keys.
He doesn't know if he has a key for this.
It's never come up before. At which point, Jim just tries to boot the door in. He's
Good
going
man,
to
Jim.
rage, and then he's going to try and boot the door in.
Yes, they ate your daughter, Jim.
Channel that rage of losing your daughter to these hags.
Not that I
He
want to
rolled
bring
an
up
18
these.
and a 19, so with his bonuses, the door flies in, slams down the ground as he boots it in.
Fathers are dangerous creatures to rouse. Okay.
Jim looks a little bit scary now. He's become ever so slightly feral in his
Reminiscent of Wolfslayer, though Brayalana wouldn't remember
a little
that.
bit.
Okay.
I say this man deserves a promotion to the noble lady.
If
And
he
then I
survives.
start my blade song.
Okay.
Okay. While that's going on, Malphas is literally just trying to pry the shutters open.
Sure. Do you have a crowbar?
I do not have a crowbar. No.
Be a plain strength check.
Okay.
Athletics check.
Can I use the big boomstick as leverage? It's
It's not particularly designed for it. It is like a tube with a wooden piece running along the length of it as well. It's not particularly.
it's got a
gonna
very
be-
long stock. Okay, fine. Just plain strength attack then. Rolled an 11. 12 minus 1.
11. You do manage to pry one of the shutters a little bit open.
Okay.
It will take you another 30 seconds, but you will get in through the window, or you can stop what you're doing. It's up to you.
How sturdy do the shutters look? How old are the hinges?
Pretty naff. The hinges are probably 8 years old, but they were never particularly fresh to begin with. Probably secondhand.
I don't want to leave this. Obviously, is there any single round here that I could perhaps drag in front of the door to try and stop anything coming through it on this side? Which direction does the door open in?
Sure. There's a cart just a few feet away from the door.
I can't open a shutter. I'm not dragging a bloody cart.
The cart is, it's got wheels. You just have to tilt it at one end and push it.
Okay, so it's a smaller cart than I was imagining. I was thinking like a horse cart, just not lacking
No,
the
no,
horses.
no.
Right, okay,
I
okay.
Like
I was thinking,
don't-
what do you think Malphas is going to do?
Oh.
Talk it into moving? But, okay, so he's going to wheel that over and try and block the door, and then go around the
Athletics
front. Okay, that is pretty much exactly the same thing as a strength check, really. So it's -1. 11 again.
You do manage to just about get it tilted and wheel it forwards towards the door and then dump it so the door just can't open.
I probably would have been better trying to talk it into moving, but okay. I go around the front. Please, Cat, this is really important. Children's lives at risk.
I'm assuming you were moving full pace inwards.
Yeah.
In which case, Malthus, you will get there 2 rounds later.
Okay, fair enough.
Because you spent effectively 12 seconds, whereas they were wandering out the door. Bree, you go in. What are you looking for?
Looking for the kitchen, a door to a cellar, something along those lines.
Investigation check.
Sorry, something in my eye. I always have something in my eye on Wednesdays.
That's rather bizarre.
It's like a known thing.
Good
21?
You and Jim...
Hang on, sorry, not positive yet. I just realized investigation. Yeah, 21. Sorry.
Okay, you and Jim both come across a trapdoor behind the bar. It looks like it's used fairly often to go down to some sort of, cellar. You open it.
Is Briolana sensing any magic in here? She's got detect magic on. Does she not?
She hasn't got it on.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Hasn't on yet. There's a ladder going down into the basement.
How far?
It probably goes down... You'd say this basement is lower than you'd expect. This basement isn't just straight below the floor. It's probably a few feet below the floor that it starts. So it probably goes down a good 10 feet.
Great.
At least probably 10, 15.
I've got gloves. Can I firehouse down the side of the ladder?
Make a acrobatics check. You advantage, don't you, because you're blade singing?
Sure. I think.
I'll accept it, whether I have it or not.
Well, the thing about it is I'm probably only going to fail on a 1. And a 1 is a catastrophic failure, whether I'm going down the sides of the thing or not. Like, it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
I swear, I thought that 7 was a 1 for a second. I was like, really? That would have been terrible.
You're fine. You go down. The others follow you.
Let me know when I get to the front of the inn.
You get to the front of the inn about now, since they're about 10 seconds ahead of you-ish.
Has everyone else gone down the stairs?
Yeah, you get there as you see the last person going down. They are going down single file, so...
Okay.
You catch the head of someone going in the bar.
Right up. I look around for a lantern or anything like that. Are there any lights in here? There's not, you know?
Sure, there are sort of places for lanterns to be held in the ceiling. None of them are lit currently.
Okay, fair enough.
These are humans that we're dealing with in here, so I am going to cast light.
Yeah, that was why I was looking for the lantern, but...
on my rapier.
Okay, your rapier suddenly looks like a rapier-shaped light bulb. Not you know what light bulb is.
I mean, that's not going to have any combat effect, right?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. From the doorway, before Malphas runs over and follows the others down, can he peer out and see that shop? Can he see tulips rushing toward him at all, or anything like that?
Well, there's a few places up for the Arcana shop, so, and it is early morning, so you can't see him quite yet.
Okay, I'll just have to hope that he's bright enough to work out where we've gone. This is not going to end well, but okay. He just goes and follows behind. Is there anything out of place in this room? It looks like just in the rush, everyone has just gone straight down, but not specifically looking for an exit, but looking for something that's out of place in the room.
Make an investigation check.
I am still also paying attention to the detect magic trail.
Okay. Oh, sorry, yeah, you do have detect magic up. Yeah, obviously. It's 10 minutes. There doesn't seem to be anything out of place. The entire place is pretty damn quiet, and there's, no one there. No lights are on.
Okay.
All the windows are shuttered, which is very unusual, but nothing particularly out of place other than that.
Okay.
But the trail does go down.
Yep. There's a faint trail going down, and you notice that it goes to a wall
And
with a load of shelves and stuff in front of it. But you do notice that the shelves, now looking at this wall, are a little bit ajar, a little bit crooked.
a little bit open.
And the wall is a giant magic sheet.
Well, Malphas is coming down the ladder at this point and gets there.
Perfect. Great timing. Is this wall trapped? It is very, very magical.
All right.
Can I should
first
be
thing-
able to tell what school it is, too.
It's illusion.
Okay.
Well, first thing.
Your hand goes through the wall.
All right, let's go.
So it's not trapped. Okay, fair enough then.
Okay, you shift the shelves over, make strength checks.
Oh, the wall is an illusion. The
The shelves.
The shelves have been jammed in front of it.
Jim?
Yeah, Malphas will try and help, but he's more or less just going to get out of the way if Jim says, "Roar!"
16 plus stuff, short rolled 19. Okay, so Jim and Short managed to pull them open. You rush through.
I have a strength of 8. I'm not going anywhere near anything that requires strength.
Okay,
I'll give it a
they
shot.
open, you rush through.
You never know when you'll get a natural 20 and they'll be like, this really matters to you. Your blood is just like basically a little bit of hemoglobin plus mostly adrenaline at this point. It'll happen eventually.
Or a natural 1. Which would end up being a 0. I would roll a 0. Anyway.
You pull so hard you dislocate both your shoulders and
As
your
you rush
legs.
through, this place is a lot more makeshift. There are wooden beams holding up what is effectively a pre-existing cavern. It looks a very old cavern. You can see that the soil itself has not only compacted, but almost become sort of eroded to just the rocks around it in several places. There's cobwebs. There's even some bits of bone you see as you go past. A number of the bones do look pretty small. And you rush inwards, and you get to a large chamber, at the center of which are the 3 sisters. 2 of which you recognize as Enya Gray, the tavern owner, Diana Gray, the midwife, and the 3rd one, who is currently not disguised and is a green hag with boils and warts, a long, crooked nose, an obvious scar marking one side of her face that's slightly redder, popped blood vessels all over it. Her eye on that side is red with blood. Half her teeth are missing. The other ones are elongated and crooked. Her fingers are talons, which are sort of calcinated bone almost in places. And she's got part of her lip is missing as well on the side of her face, and she's hunchbacked and looks over at you, and you see the sort of bloodlust in her eyes. And Indy Gray sees you and says, "It's you. Should have kicked you out when I had the chance." And you notice she is holding the child, and they are around a cauldron.
Okay. How big is the cauldron? What does it look like? Is there stuff in it? Is it bubbling?
It's big. It is bubbling. It's sort of an orangish, sort of dark brown orangish look to it.
Okay. How does sleight of hand work if someone is aware of me?
What do you want to do with it?
I've got a magical hand that I can just kind of whoop, more or less where I can see it within a certain range. And I want to try and just swipe the child out of her hands and pull it towards me.
If they're aware of you, you would have to sleight of hand to use the sleight of hand. Because it'd be you'd be doing it solely,
Okay.
and you'd be controlling it.
Well,
I believe
what I was wanting to do is basically snatch it. But
it's not particularly strong. If you want to use it for strength, I think
Yeah.
it would auto fail because I'm pretty sure it's got a
Right.
strength of like 0.
okay, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Check, but I'm not sure. It's basically it's not designed for strength contests.
Yeah, I'm just going to flat out say it's not going to be able to do it if it's literally a contest of something resisting it. So that's fine. So in terms of who went through, Briolana, did you rush ahead of Jim, the guard, and it was literally just once the door was opened?
Yeah, we should all be sticking together. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that as you went through, you all just bum rushed as a small group and just got into this cabin.
Malphas wouldn't have been bum rushing anything. Malphas would have been knocking his arrow and moving behind everyone else, which he always does.
Truffles hisses at the tags.
Okay. I'm going to switch to
I
the
told
map
them.
overlay.
Well done,
If you
Truffles.
don't mind.
Go for it.
So map. Let me put you all on the map page.
You know it's getting serious when there's a map.
People are talking about how my sword is now a light rapier.
You basically have a light rapier, although you do have a Basque sort of hilt to it.
I think you're missing what she's trying to imply with this. Meow, meow.
Yeah. But it looks cooler because it's got a kind of swirly hilt to it as well. Right, you've got two swords with you as well, and you have a lady.
Where are they?
I'm trying to move them up the screen. I've grabbed them from my miscellaneous civilian pool.
Very well. Which one is me?
That would be Melthas. There.
Yay.
Bree. There.
Yay.
Tulips is currently. Rhaegar is behind Bree since Bree was leading the charge. Melthas stays at the back.
My God, my perception is shit. I didn't notice either of these two catch up with this. Glad to hear, but wow.
Copy, paste.
This is where he keeps all of his secret pieces for the map.
Yeah. Cunning, eh?
I know. Madness.
And then I will draw.
Those hags look significantly less horrific than you described. I've got to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's really annoying. I couldn't really find a decent hag.
Does one of them look particularly wounded?
Well, the green hag who's currently looking like a green hag looks pretty badly wounded.
I meant to ask that. Does it look fresh?
That doesn't look fresh, although there are small stab marks you can see, and there are holes in its clothing, but those look like they have started to heal.
Okay. Could you name the hags? Could you just put the title, like I've got Malphas above my character, could you pop...
that, and also do that to the civilians now that they're on screen.
Awesome.
I just need to do the chamber. And then there's a door there that you can't really see through because it's closed. And then there is the cauldron, which is going to be a funky new square cauldron, fresh from IKEA, because I don't have a circle.
Square cauldrons are all the rage.
Yeah, I hear so. We can name them.
Very easy to stack.
Show nameplate, name.
Somebody, I guess we'll be overrunning a bit this evening. No, where did you get that idea? Somebody else says.
Yeah, only slightly. Are you okay to overrun a little bit?
A little.
Okay.
No more than an hour.
That should be fine.
I don't trust you. I wouldn't trust you if I could throw you. I wouldn't even trust you that far.
And I should probably put a baby token down, shouldn't I?
Nah. It's probably already dead.
Baby? Okay. No baby is then.
Go on. Put a little circle, baby. Hey, I want to know which one's carrying
it.
it.
A square baby.
No, because if it's a circle, it won't fit in the cauldron. We'll be saved.
Square peg in a round hole. And it is Lady Harlock. Let me see if I can find you a baby token. Baby!
For some reason, I'm not seeing these icons on them.
Giant baby.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. I'm actually not seeing any titles on anything. I'm only
Is
seeing
that a
titles on
kobold
myself.
baby?
Really? Let me check.
Are you seeing any, Briolana?
What?
Any titles on any of the...
No.
No. Yeah, Antus in my chat just said, he said 1 hour. Have fun, Aavak, fighting for the next 3. Yeah. True fact.
Okay. I'm not sure how to get the names. Oh, there we go. Player permission. Name C.
There we go. Yay. I can now see names. Glorious
There we
times. I can't see who's who with the civilians, though, and that would probably be useful.
Oh, I really thought they were labeled civilian. Okay. There we go. They are now named Jim, followed by Short, and at the back is Lady Harlock.
Okay. Very well.
Okay. Let's roll initiative.
Oh, do we have to? I don't really want to. Bonk. I have got a 9.
Sorry, making very important jokes. Uh, 20.
Wow. Okay.
Very nice.
23. I have to roll for
Everyone. Enjoy, EE. Basically, it'll be like, so, Bree, what are you doing? I'm doing this. And then, okay, now, I'm doing this with Rhaegar, I'm doing this with Tulips, I'm doing this with Lady Harlock, I'm doing this with Jim, I'm doing this with Short. Now I'm going to do this with Pandora. And since I wrote badly on Enya and Diana and the baby, Melfast, your turn. So this is just basically going to EE fighting himself for most of this battle.
Okay, Bree, go.
Hold person on the one with the baby. Oh wait, I have to go and move in, or I'm in people's way.
You can do hold person then move if you want. It doesn't make a difference.
Hello, Siri.
Each tile is 5 feet, by the way.
So there's 10-ish. I don't know, whatever. I'll go there.
Okay.
Ish.
Bree goes to that.
There. I got plenty of move, so.
Sweet. Go for hold person.
No, you roll for hold person.
Okay. At which point, counterspell. Diana gestures as you try to muster this arcane force, and you feel it snap and dissipate.
I counter her counter spell. No, I'm saving those for later.
Okay.
I love the way the cogs in his mind were like...
He was like, oh, can you do that? Reaction to
Not
a...
a counterspell.
I don't know.
Like, technically, yeah, and also I'd allow it because it's funny, but okay, so you're gonna hold off on that. So your whole person fails. That makes it Melfast because everyone else rolled crap.
I rolled a 9 and I'm going next.
I
What
rolled a
kind
lot
of-
of 2s.
What kind of weird nth dimension is this? Okay. Can I shoot past these people in front of me? Is
You
it...
have probably 3/4 cover by the number of people in the tight crawl space. You can hold your turn if you want.
Or you could move through them.
Can I move through them?
Yeah, they're friendly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that works then. So let me just measure this out.
Each tile will count as 10 for those people because you have the difficult terrain.
Do I need to roll for that at all?
Just count them as 10 feet for each 5 foot square.
2. So 25, and each square is 5 foot. Is that right? Okay. So I'll move over there, and that's my 30. At that point, I use my bonus action to dash. Can I then move the next 30, or does it have to be all one action moving at top speed?
That's fine. Yeah, you can split your move up.
1, 2. So I'm just moving to the side, just that I'm out of the way, really. And then I am going to... What's in this room other than the cauldron and the hags?
There's shelves with candles and miscellaneous magical supplies, some skulls. You notice that there are some chains attached to one wall.
Okay.
Should have taken Fireball. I mean, the baby would die, but I'd probably get the hags too.
Acceptable losses. We must think for the future children.
It's true. It's true.
I like it. All
Collateral
right.
damage.
What's that?
Collateral damage.
I don't think the mother right behind us would really ever forgive that. So,
She doesn't have to.
well, I suppose so. Right, so there's a fire under the cauldron, is that right? There's a naked flame, big old fire. And how close are the hags to this fire?
About 5 foot away from it.
Okay. And what are they wearing?
Sort of black robes, a bit ragged in places.
Okay. Control flame.
Pandora-
I'm grabbing some of the flame from under the fire, and just enough, and I'm moving it straight onto Pandora's robes.
Okay, that's not the one holding the baby.
No. I'm assuming the baby's in front of
We were
them.
joking about that, but...
Barbecued baby!
Yeah.
Actually, I don't like
control
barbecued
flame.
baby.
Control flames. Cantrip. You may choose a non-magical flame that you can see within range and that fits in a 5 foot cube. It does. You affect it in one of the following ways. You instantly expand the flame 5 feet in one direction, provided the wood or other fuel is present in the new location.
The cloak is the new fuel.
They are 5 foot away. They would need to be within 5 feet.
Oh, all right.
If they move closer, you can do it.
So you could light the baby in the next turn.
The baby is technically in Enya's grasp, but I don't put on top because it make it hard to grab the baby.
How can I expand the flame?
Bright light and dim light, you can extinguish the flames. You can cause a simple shape to invade creature. No, so you can't. I'm afraid.
How much can I expand them?
You can't actually expand it. You can double the bright light from it.
Oh,
but you
okay.
can't-
That's fine then. Oh, poop. Could I use my mage hand to grab some of the wood and literally just throw it at one of them? Because I can cast my mage hand that far away.
Sure. Is mage hand? Oh, you've already used bonus action. Sure. Your mage hand goes, grabs a piece of wood. Make a strength thrown attack.
Across 5 feet, I would have imagined it was just dexterity, but that's fine. So minus
Any thrown attack, it tends to be strength unless it's something designed for finesse, like
Oh, okay.
dance.
that
Why are
makes
you
sense.
not? Why are you not just moving and shooting?
Well, I'm trying to distract them, just shooting one of them. They're like, oh, that hurts. Being on fire is like, oh my god, I'm on fire. Sister's like, oh no, let's put the fire out. Assuming they like each other. I mean, they're like, good. Didn't want to share my food with you anyway, you stupid old woman. I mean, I could just attack, but I was trying to think outside the box to try and distract them. But honestly, with the idea of it being a strength attack, and that was not my understanding, and that was derpy. Could I just...
Pretty aware of mage hand, it's invisible, so you would get advantage, I guess, because they're not paying attention to it.
Still at a -1, but... No, I'll...
Strength says it can't carry an item carrying more than 10 pounds, so I'll assume it's your strength for now.
I will literally just shoot at one of them, because if it's strength, it's a -1 modifier, which is just not good for me. Sure, I will just shoot them. So that's 5.
Do you want to move in first, though?
I
Or
have.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
you have.
moved.
Okay. I have a dot on my screen.
Right.
I don't know how to make that go away.
Does my proficiency with weapons increase with my proficiency modifier?
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, I've been adding 5s when I should have been adding 6s to everything. Okay, that's cool. So, there we are. So, shooting at Pandora still. Ugh, what a horrible roll. It's 11. 5 plus 6.
The arrow misses Pandora, smashes a skull on the shelf behind her. She looks over you and grins. You can see sort of part of her lip missing, her teeth exposed. You can see the rotten, pustulated gums.
Lovely.
She beckons at you with a talon.
Sorry, not my type. Don't have a tail, don't have horns.
Fair enough.
We need to focus our fire on one of them.
All right, that makes it Tulips. He's dashing.
He
Radar.
is. I know.
He's going to sprint. Can't really get to. He can get to Enya. He doesn't break line with Pandora, so that's fine. But you were engaging Pandora, so he's going to go. Well, you're not a melee combat, so yeah, he's going to go for this side, get in combat with Enya. And that's a dash, so he doesn't have a move.
He's going to attack the one holding the baby.
Yeah,
What
he's
could
going
possibly go wrong?
for
You
roll for
roll a
one.
one.
Beheaded baby.
Please no.
At this point, hags go. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? That doesn't sound good. That sounds decidedly bad, actually.
Enya, holding the baby in one hand, points. Actually, she's going to move first.
Would that... Is she not engaged with...
Yeah, but she's not breaking engagement.
Oh, okay, okay.
Pandora will move to there for now, and Enya will aim at Melthas, Jim, Short, and Lady Harlock.
Okay.
As she straightens her arm, and energy crackles down the length of her arm, and then springs forwards in a lightning bolt that shoots down the corridor.
Okay.
5 feet wide, 100 feet long. Each creature in the line must take a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. She would be able to hit Melfast, Jim, and Short, but Lady Harlock isn't in a line from here.
Within 5 feet of the line.
Oh, right. So, right, I get you. So she's shooting the line straight down the corridor, and it's arcing 5 feet each way.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a 5 foot wide corridor. If it touches you, then you're shocked.
Oh, that's cool. Right, so dexterity saving throw. Now, when we rose up in... Our modifiers for dexterity also increased, didn't they? Proficiency on our saving throws, is that right?
If you're proficient in it, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that gives me dexterity is increased, intelligence is increased. Good, good, good. All right, then. So, my dexterity saving throw is a 16.
You take half damage.
I've also got uncanny dodge, which means if I can see an attack, is that only AoEs though? I don't know.
This is AoE.
Oh, it is AoE.
Is it single target? Because there's one that's AoE and one that's single target.
Blah, blah.
If you pass the saving throw, you ignore it.
Let me double check.
Okay, I'm gonna work out the damage then. What do you do?
Yeah,
that?
you do that, and I'll. Sorry, everyone, that this is going to mess up my overlay for.
2, 3, 6, 10, 11, 17, 19, 25. 25 points of damage. Short is killed outright as bolts of energy arc off from this central beam of lightning that crackles forwards, frying Short as he stands there. Wordless scream as his back arches, and you can hear something snap, and he dies. Jim manages to take half that, so takes 13 points, and Lady Harlock takes 13 points as well as energy spikes up their bodies.
But dead outright, not unconscious.
Well, actually, technically unconscious, I guess. He is a named PC, even if you haven't worked out his name.
Was it an attack roll on this, or was it just literally I
No,
saved
it's
against it? Okay, then uncanny dodge doesn't affect it, no.
Yeah. Right, well, he is bleeding out then. That would then... Yeah, Amelphis, you take 13 points of lightning damage.
Okay, ouch.
And then you cut it, and then you cut it? Or is
No.
that cut?
No, that was cut.
25 or...
Yeah.
Oh, so it's round down. It's 12 points.
Oh.
12 points. I will note 12 points for Jim and Lady Harlock. Except Jim takes half that because he has a certain feat.
Okay.
Not a feat, a certain level. So Jim takes 6 points.
Okay. And that was... Who did that one? Was it Enya?
Enya, yeah.
Okay.
So Diana is going to point at Bree and beckon with her hand and hold up as if she's grasping something. Bree, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
I am going to counter spell.
It's a second tier spell, so yeah, you instantly dispel it. You feel your body begin to seize up, and you recognize this as a whole person.
Yes,
but
I
you
did.
And she stops grinning for a moment and gets frustrated. At which point she will back up to the wall. Pandora is... You shot at her, Malthas, so
Yeah.
Pandora's going to run at Malthas.
Okay.
Spit flying out of her mouth. And she'll make an attack roll. What's your AC? I don't know if you'll have to hit.
My AC is 14.
13.
14.
She-
1-4.
Just clipping your hair.
Oh, right.
Scraping against the wall behind you, sparks flying off as her tans scrape across the exposed stone.
Okay.
All right, that makes it Jim, who is not going to be able to tend to short, so is going to run at Pandora in a rage, and is going to do reckless attack. Let's make that a frenzied rage. Why not? Unfortunately, misses both times, wildly swinging for the first attack. Second time, really bad rolls. Misses again.
Damn it.
Sword, hitting stone, chipping the end of the blade, not managing to really find Pandora as Pandora sort of lively leaps to the side. Lady Harlock is going to make a medical check on Short. And Short is now stabilized. She's then going to spend the rest of her movement to move up next to Jim. Assess the room. Actually, she's going to get a little bit closer. I think she wants to be near Enya. So she's going to get to about here with her move. 1, 2... No, it's going to be actually about there, I guess.
Okay.
For movement. There we go. That will make it... the end of the turn. Bree.
I don't like these options. Grr.
Arg.
Well, it's Strixie, because I know how the last combat went, and
And, yeah, okay.
I guess I'm just going to cast a magic missile at one of them. Give me 1 second. All right. Grr.
Okay, go for it.
10 points.
Who are you targeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, given that it's an attack that I know hits, I'm going to target the one holding the baby. Wait, no. Have any of them been hit yet?
Pandora does look still slightly injured from the attacks the other day, but they are mostly healed. Other than that, they all look fine. None have been hit.
I will attack Pandora then.
Okay, 10 points to Pandora. Okay, so the magic missiles hit her. She looks around angrily. Feral spit coming out of her mouth.
I told you to leave.
Girl, I'll feast on your entrails.
Those are not the best parts of a person.
It's true.
Melthas.
Okay. Well, given that he's actually kind of pretty hurt, and also right up next to this Pandora, she's been attacked by a magic missile, she's been attacked by Jim. And because I know that this is the last opportunity I'm going to get with my character to do this, he holds his bow to the side because he's got a free hand at the moment because he's just loosed an arrow, reaches down, pulls out the loaded small boomstick, points it straight into her face, and tries to use it. As best as he knows how.
Make a dexterity ranged attack. You do not proficiency with guns,
Okay.
but go for it.
So that's +3 because of my base dex. 16. 13 plus 3.
You miss the AC just. The boomstick goes off, but she manages to
Damn it, Wiz.
just about head to the side. The blast rings in her ear. Gunpowder goes off, pocking the side of her face with black powder.
Okay.
The shot out, and directly behind her is Enya and the baby.
Oh god.
Make
No.
another attack roll.
Oh god, no. Oh god, no.
Did you roll
Unlike-
a 1?
No, but apparently I've got to make another attack roll.
It misses Enya and hits the back wall, splintering stone and
Alright.
bits of that.
Right. Now that was my action. My bonus action is to flatly disengage and to move up
Sure.
here.
Okay, go for it.
Actually, can I move my full movement? Because I'm disengaged
Sure.
at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the sake of it, I'll move around her and give her a wide berth. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay.
Okay.
And that is the end of my turn.
Right, that brings us... Actually, you would have had advantage... No, do you have advantage when you've got a friend in melee? No, you just get your sneak attack.
Yeah, does...
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
you get advantage when you get a
Yeah, it just...
sneak attack.
Yeah, I get advantage if they can't see me.
Yeah.
That's where we always get confused. If they can't see me, I get an advantage on the attack, and thus anything I have an advantage on, I get a critical.
This is going to dash. Rhaegar. Rhaegar is going to smash. Four. That's more like it. Second attack hits. I think he's got double attack now. So he whacks Enya, doing much damage, but he is going to empower it with a divine smite. Allows him to add a load more damage. He does 19 points of damage to Enya.
Very nice. Very nice.
And she is mildly annoyed. That makes it hags.
Yay.
Okay. They all go invisible for start.
Okay.
Um,
Does the baby go invisible as well because it's being held?
Good point.
That's a genuine question. Does the baby also become
Not
invisible?
yet, they don't go invisible.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Enya is going to point at Rhaegar, and you see black sort of smoke begin to coil around her hand. And she says some words in a language I don't think any of you speak, and points at Rhaegar.
I'm fluent in gibberish. Just want to put this out there now.
I'm afraid it's not Draconic or Sylvan. So, right, the target
Shots were
must
fired.
make a
Shots were fired.
wisdom saving throw, which he does.
Yay, Rhaegar!
Rhaegar manages to throw off this feeling that comes over him, blackness filling his eyes and making him look slightly pale, but he manages to just throw it off. Enya then going to go invisible.
Okay.
You can no longer see Enya.
And the baby?
The baby is visible.
Yeah, that's
The
what I was
baby
asking.
is going to be over here, suspended in midair. Note that you will have disadvantage on the target, but you can't see where the target is when you turn to target her.
Okay.
Because you can see roughly where she is, but it's not exactly, aim at the baby. Pandora,
When's Tulip's going to get his turn?
he just had his turn. He's still dashing.
Okay, that's fine.
Pandora is going to make attacks against Jim. Critical fail. She slips and falls on her ass.
Her ears still ringing from the boomstick.
Yep, that's obviously why she sort of lost her balance. Diana is going to look at Bree, eyes you up, says, "This time I think you will turn into something slightly more cute." And she almost spits the word at you. And gestures in your direction. I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Dream on. Counterspell.
We'll have to roll it. Polymorph is a 4th level, counterspell is a 3rd level. That means we need to dice off.
What? So what are we rolling for what?
Counterspell. When you blah, 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 blah. If you cast a spell a 4th level or higher, make an ability check using your spell casting ability. If the creature is casting a third... if it is casting a 4th level ability or higher, you've got to make an ability check using your spell casting ability. The DC equals 10 plus the spell's level.
It's 14.
So 14.
You need to make a spell check, and you need to get 14 or higher.
Here's hoping.
Best of luck.
Luck.
Yep. Yeah, because otherwise I'm out of combat.
You would have been a rabbit. But you managed to throw... You get this urge to eat lettuce suddenly, but you managed to just
I'm
about...
an elf. There you are with that racism again.
True, yeah.
I'm
But
frankly
you
getting
managed
sick
to
and tired of this casual racism from our GM.
before it actually gets to your person, you feel yourself begin to sprout a little bit of fur, your ears begin to even get slightly longer, move at your head, but you manage to stop the spell before it fully gets there. Diana recoils again, frustrated by you.
By the way, most rabbits won't actually want to eat lettuce. This is actually a really bad myth, and I feel strongly enough that I really do need to step in and say, don't listen to E. This shit has been around since Peter Rabbit. It's actually bad for them. It can make their stomachs burst. Not a good way to die. All right?
Give any animal something that's mainly a water-bearing product that doesn't contain much nutrients. Like, you don't give bread to ducks.
No, that's bad.
Yeah.
No,
Because then they get fat, and then they can't fly south. Because too many carbs.
Seriously
It's
though,
true.
do not feed lettuce to rabbits. You will probably kill your pet.
Bread makes you fat. I think that's the line, isn't it?
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
don't know.
Right, that makes it the end of the hag's turn.
Stupid.
They're all now invisible. Harlock is going to run over to her baby. That's about as far as she can get without a dash.
Is that meant to be like a doorway at the back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's going to throw the coin purse in her pocket. That's all she's got. 2.
Bloody typical noble trying to buy a way out of a situation.
She has a sword.
She don't want to throw the sword. She can't get into melee range, unfortunately.
Oh.
Also, throwing a sword at someone carrying a child, probably not a good way to...
Be accurate. The coin purse hits the back wall. I mean, gold is heavy, right? If that hits you in the face, that's like a sock full of sand type thing. Hits the back wall, coins.
Who throws a coin purse? Really?
That makes it the guards. Jim is going to double dash up to combat distance, but can't do anything. It's a dash. That makes it Bree.
Sorry, where is Tulips in the turn order?
Below you.
Below me, okay.
Also, is the detect magic still allowing me to see them?
You can see them.
All right.
You haven't taken a hit. You've got concentration. You haven't used a concentration spell. You're fine.
So I guess
Did you attempt to cast Hold Person?
She did, and it was counterspelled.
Yeah, hold person's not concentration, is it?
I think it is.
Maybe it is. I'm
will
looking.
say because it didn't go through. I think it should get counted, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to say be generous and say because it didn't go through, you still got concentration on the detect magic.
Cool. Thanks.
E the Magnanimous.
Rar. So. Hate this. I hate this. I hate this feeling that like this is where I'm weak when we're fighting other spellcasters, and it sucks.
I don't know. You cancelled an eye bite. No, you cancelled. What did you cancel? A whole person and another one.
Polymorph.
Yeah, and the hold person, I still had to use one of my lucks to cancel it.
No, the polymorph. Yeah.
Yeah, or the polymorph. Yeah. So I could have just rolled the wisdom check and then, if I failed, re-rolled that. But then I still have another spell. So I guess I'm just gonna have to keep. Yeah. Great. All right. So I can see one, but you have no way.
Baby.
No, the detect magic allowed me to see them.
Oh yeah, you still got it up. Yeah, you can see there is one where the baby is. So there's one right next to where the baby is, and there is one directly behind Melthas. The one behind Melthas is the more strong signature that isn't muted. Now you're getting a good look at them close up, and you know what to look for. You can also see that there is magical aura being given off by a couple of items each of them are wearing.
Oh, how strong?
All of them have on some sort of bracelet, which seems to be something to do with mind, either reading minds or communication or mind shielding, something to do with mental. And Diana and Enya had on rings that seem to be muting or dampening psionic magical signatures. And Pandora had on one that seemed to do something to do with effectively buffing her invisibility.
Right. Okay, so that Melphis is aware that she's there, I'm just going to cast Magic Missile at the one that's right behind Melphis.
You can cast Magic Missile at everyone, so everyone's aware, if you want. Targets.
No.
Okay.
No. Just the one right next to Melphis, because I'm like, there's precious little I can do in this fight, and we need to take one of them down because the stuff that you were saying before, that they're stronger when there's 3 of them. Mm-hmm. So if we take one down and kill her, they're not as strong. Okay. Unless I totally misunderstood what you were saying before.
No, that's correct.
9 points. Cripe's sake.
Okay. You recoil a bit. Meltus, you notice the homing missiles fly past you. You're a bit confused for a second, and then you realize that they impacted someone behind you. That would make it Meltus's go.
Okay.
And
How behind? Sorry, what was that?
I'm just gonna do a 5-foot move.
Sure.
But
Okay,
it's not,
Meltus?
I just don't
How
wanna be
behind
blind
me
with everyone
is she? If you could just ping on the map somehow, like
Right
literally
behind
the other tile. We're not engaged though, is that right?
You are engaged. You're within 5 feet.
Right. So it's literally just being near someone puts you in engagement. Okay, well, fair enough. Right. Well, turning around with the homing missiles using the new spell I got from level 5. Let's see. Semantic and verbal, burning hands straight at what is right in front of me, with the cone going away from anyone else, so literally straight towards the wall. You said there's like bookshelves and all kinds of things around you. Is that right?
There's a couple of bookshelves. It's mostly magical ingredients.
Anything that would catch on fire?
Yeah, there's a couple of bits in the corner that might catch on fire. A couple of books, maybe a storage crate or so.
Okay. 15-foot cone, casting time, 1 action, first level. It has to do a dexterity saving throw, 3d6 fire damage if it fails, or half that if it succeeds.
Okay, sure. All right, so let me make a dexterity saving throw. What am I aiming to get? That's not ever going to meet it. That's a 2.
Okay, then...
I mean 2s, by the way.
So
she
3d6.
takes... Roll that.
Yep. Not much. It's 8 points of damage.
Okay, and basically the bookshelves along the wall next to you and into that corner of the room are now on fire. I will...
Okay. Just draw a red line along the wall to show it's all on fire, where the fire is. Perfect.
There we go.
Right. Following that, as my bonus action, flat out disengaging, then moving 30 feet away.
Okay, cool.
I'll put myself down there. Let me just ruler that again to make sure. Yeah, that's only 18. Oh, each of these are meant to be 5 feet, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm going to say that diagonals are going to be more, so I'll be there. So there we are.
Try
Let
not
me
to-
edit the scale for you. Scale, when
I'll
you
move
equals
over
5
there.
feet. There you go. So it should give a correct reading now if you do the measurement of distance.
Oh,
Try
perfect.
not to be in any direct line, though,
Yeah.
if you can.
Yeah, I'll put my... Well, actually, no matter where... I know where the baby is, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go down here because that says it's 30 feet.
It's best
Shoot it.
because it's gonna get.
Hooray!
3. He's going to attempt to cast Fairy Fire.
If he fails, we're all screwed.
It's not particularly hard to cast it. It's not a high-level spell, so he does manage to pass it just. I think he rolls something like a 15. That's not actually just. That's actually not bad. Fairy Fire fills the room. They all become visible again. So let me just move the baby temporarily so that the baby's not underneath, so you can see it.
Now, just for a clarification on Fairy Fire, the way that Fairy Fire works, if I'm correct...
And then you get advantage.
But it's not just that; it literally fills the room with like little globes of almost mystical fire that kind of stick to any magical object. Is that right?
But basically, the air becomes full of particulates which then cling
Which
to every
glow,
object.
so you can see it. So even if they keep turning their invisibility on, those particulates are still stuck to them. That's what I was asking for.
Yeah, it cancels invisibility and then adds the advantage. So
Yeah, but what I was looking for is if they turn their invisibility off and then re-engage it.
that's still screwed. Yeah.
Good.
And let me just check because I think it might apply to you.
It does.
Any creature in the area, when the spell is cast, it's also outlined in like if it fails a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
So there is a dexterity saving throw involved.
Okay, well, you'll need to
Make dexterity saving throws.
Righto. Dex saving throw.
That's a fail. That's a fail. All the hags failed.
I got a 12. 6 and 6.
The baby passed. For
Well
what
done,
it's
baby.
worth.
It's not really a good thing.
What is... I mean, I've rolled 12. What is that, a pass or a fail?
What's your dex?
My dex is 16.
So it'll be like +3 on that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I rolled. It's 3 because I've got proficiency, then plus the 3 from dex, which gives me 6. So I've got 12 in total, 6 plus 6.
Oh, yeah. You are advantage to be hit.
Okay, well, fair enough.
You are definitely outlined with Verify.
Oh, well.
Everyone passes apart from the unconscious guy because he automatically fails. Oh no, he's not actually in the area, so we're good. Everyone passes. Bree, what did you get?
A 6.
You almost definitely outlined in Fairy Fire. Rhaegar, I haven't rolled Rhaegar yet. Rhaegar passes.
Yay, Rhaegar.
Yeah, he fails.
Oh, Rhaegar, why have you let us down?
I know, right?
Curse this sudden but inevitable betrayal.
We'll call it this land. I think we'll call it your grave. Right. I believe that makes it Rhaegar.
He's not here. That means you have to do it.
Yeah. Did you tell him to target Pandora?
No, he just rushed in and attacked Enya. As far as I'm aware.
I mean, I
think
did say that we should focus.
Oh, she did
attacks on
say that,
one,
yes.
But then
Which...
after that, he rushed in.
Yeah, I think he's still very much paladin for the baby, really. So he's going to go for the baby. That is a 2. God damn it. That's a 19. That's a lot better. He is going to burn his spell slot to be able to get extra damage. 15. 23.
Hooray! Someone's doing decent damage at least.
Brings his hammer down, smashes across Enya, misses the baby, thankfully, and takes off a whole chunk of meat on the arm, which is now visible as the invisibility starts to fail, and her fairy fire is giving him advantage, which means that the other attack misses as well. I didn't roll for advantage. She fails a concentration check, and she becomes visible. Her illusion also drops, and you see her as a hag, maybe slightly gray of face, but still very much a green. Okay. Not with the broken face and jaw, etc. Sort of hair matted and limp, missing a lot of it. Her eyes, one sort of rolling slightly in the socket. That makes it hags. Well, Enya's most definitely going to point at Rhaegar. You cockroach.
It's very clearly a dwarf.
I know they're both small, but oh, now he... Well.
Diana is going to... Diana recognizes Lady Harlock. And she looks at her and says, I always envied your pretty face. Ray of Sickness. Hits. Need to check the spell rules for Ray of Sickness. So many spells with hags. Ray of Sickness. 2d8. Makes a Constitution save, which she fails or she's poisoned. Until the end of your next turn, she takes 2d8 as well, which is a 1 and 4. 5 points of poison damage. There we go. Jim is going to go, and Jim is going to wail on Enya.
Remember the advantage?
1 miss. Okay, so...
Was that with advantage?
Yeah, sadly. He's wearing a longsword, so that's 1d8. 8 plus rage plus strength. He does 12 points of damage. Oop, wrong one. Right, that brings us up to Bree.
I'm going to cast Magic Missile at level 2.
Okay.
One of them is targeting Rhaegar. There's no way to pull the punch on that, is there?
Nope.
All right, the solid black one with the letters and or the numbers in a hard to read spot is Rhaegar.
Okay.
So Rhaegar takes 3 points as a cockroach. And I'm sorry, the other one is the same as Pandora. What's that?
How many you were pointing at, Rhaegar? 1?
1.
Okay, yeah, I see the difference in the dice now. Yeah, how much does he take?
He takes 3.
Okay, so 1 point kills the cockroach, 2 points carries over, and whoop, a dwarf sprouts out of the ground.
That's how they
and
breed,
then
don't you know?
That's 9 points to Pandora.
Okay, 9 points to Pandora. She recoils as you hit her with another blow, pushing her against the wall, narrowly dodging, getting rained on by burning books and bits of herb. Would you like to move?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I do want to move.
Okay. That makes it Malthus.
Okay. Simply put, I want to shoot Pandora with my bow.
You won't get sneak attack damage because she's not next to anyone. Okay with that?
Don't I get advantage? If I have advantage on the attack, I generate sneak attack damage.
Yes, that is true.
So,
Are you advantage?
so I need to roll a 6. This is with advantage. Is that right? Yeah. Plus 6 because that's my bonus.
If you've got 3 and 3 decks, yeah.
Dunk. 24.
That 18.
Yes.
Yeah, that is definitely a hit. You may roll your damage.
Okay, which for this bow at this range is 46. Yep. Dunk. Ugh, roll rubbish rolls. 11, 6, 3, 1, 1.
Plus your dex.
Oh, yes, of course, which is plus 3.
14. So the arrow sticks into the meat of her thigh, and she kind of spit still flying out of her mouth.
Okay, and at this point, I want to move in such a way as I am not... there's nowhere that is particularly safe right now.
No.
But I'm going to move 20 feet over here. And then I'm going to use my bonus action to give me an additional... yeah, it'll be 40 feet, so I'll just move back to here. Let me just measure that out to make sure I can... Yeah, okay, good. Right, that's my turn.
Where are you going?
I'm moving out of the way so they can't hit me with the next spell while I
Well,
reload.
Tulips. He is going to see Malthus move past him and is going to shout,
Come back, yeah, you saw it. There's still a fight.
shot through the neck, and you're to blame. You give tieflings a bad name. You may have a, I believe it's a D6.
Yes.
Is that inspiration or vicious mockery?
I know, that's what I'm trying to work out. Depends on what mood Malphas is in, honestly.
he was kind of jovial, maybe. That is your bonus action. So he's going to Vicious Mockery Pandora.
Okay.
Your face. That's just it.
It's currently missing half of
Fails her wisdom check. She's disadvantage. And she also takes d4 points of damage. 4. She takes 4 points of damage. She recoils.
I'm a bomb. I was born like this.
She backs into the burning books, and briefly, like, her back of her robes gets set alight, and she flails, but she's taken 4 points of damage from the Vicious Mockery.
Yay.
She's looking pretty badly hurt now. That makes it Rhaegar. It's gonna keep wailing. That's a hit. And a hit. Gonna spend his last attack. In total, he deals 22 points of damage. As he rains blow upon blow into Enya. She's still trying to hold the baby, but it's becoming more and more difficult. She's going to take a concentration check, really, I think. Which she 20s. She, in fact, passes the baby with her 20 to Diana.
Oh, that scallywag.
I
like to imagine she did a rugby pass as well. Just yeah.
Yep.
Diana needs to roll for dexterity to catch the flailing baby. That was a joke.
Enya is going to look over... Diana is going to look over at Rhaegar, cradling the baby, and say, "You're just cattle. Cattle for us." And she's going to polymorph.
Again.
That's actually a bad thing to turn him into, because, lots of people think that the cows are quite docile. It's like, well, when they're annoyed, something that weighs a ton, moving at you quite fast, yeah, that tends to hurt.
Cow.
Sorry, hang on one second.
Surely you mean a bull. I mean, you could mean a cow, but...
No, I mean a cow. I just want a giant hit point sink. I don't have stats for cow. I'm assuming it's the same as the stats as the mule. But maybe slightly stronger. Okay. Rhaegar is now a cow. Diana is going to... That's me out of level slots there.
What kind of cow is he? Is it a dairy cow?
An angry cow.
Move.
I thought you were saying moo there for a second.
Move.
To here, taking an attack of opportunity from Lady Harlock. Lady Harlock rolls with advantage. Misses. Blade swiping through midair as this pony shape moves forwards. And Diana is going to stretch her hand. No, sorry. Diana casts the polymorph.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to, with bonus action, pass the baby back then. In which case, Enya's going to move to there, provoking attack from Lady Harlock with misses and an attack from Jim.
And surely an attack from Rhaegar as well. Oh, no, he's still a cow, but...
Yeah.
He's probably pretty angry.
Yeah. And he's also bloody enormous at this point. Is she really going to be able to jostle past him? Wouldn't that be, like, difficult terrain?
Yeah. Effectively, she moves at half speed, which is why she can't go very far.
I see.
She then holds the baby over the cauldron, and with her other hand gestures in between Tulips and Bree at Malphas. And lightning arcs down her hand for a second time, flying down the corridor, arcing off the walls, burning the stonework. Bree, Tulips, Malphas all make dexterity saving throws. A short automatically fails, and thus takes 2 points.
I got 13.
How if it's 5 foot wide? Is it still getting both tulips and I?
It goes down the center of that tile, and 5 feet to either side is half into Tulip's tile, half into your tile, so it touches both of you. Oh no, it's 5 feet wide, not 5 feet. Yeah, okay, she has to pick. In which case, she will pick going getting Bree rather than Tulips. Tulips hasn't done anything attacky so far. You've proved yourself a pretty competent spellcaster.
But then it's hitting the wall and not me. And not.
Well, when she's like half between the squares, and she'll move the last half square. I can't place her in between squares because snapping. I could turn the snapping off. But you see the point.
It's all right.
So it gets Bree, gets Melthus, it clips short. Bree, make a dexterity saving throw. Melthus, how many did you get?
I got 13. 7 plus 6.
You managed to pass. You take half damage.
Surely, would it be able to hit short? Because short is in the same line as Tulips.
Yeah, basically, I'll show you where she casts it from if I can turn off the clipping. Is it? No.
Oh, I get what you're saying. No, it's fine. I can see what you're saying.
How do I do the whole make a line appear?
It isn't necessary. We can see what you're saying.
Like that, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you get, Bree?
16.
You pass as well. You'll take half damage. 6, 11, 14, 16, 21, 22, 24, 27. You both take 13 points of lightning damage. Short fails 2 death saving throws.
Okay.
And she holds the baby over the cauldron. Pandora is going to run at... Unfortunately, Tulips is in the way. She's going to run at Tulips, and she's going to attack Tulips. And misses. Good job. Her feralness kind of, at this point, taking so much damage, she can't really concentrate, and she misses Tulips entirely with these claw attacks. It just flies through midair. This puts us to the guards. Jim is going to try and hit Enya. I know Jim's actually going to go for Diana, a bit too concerned about hitting Enya in the back. Knocking the baby in. Hits. Second attack. Hits. Doing absolutely useless damage. Okay. Longsword cutting into Diana. Her form flickers and drops to another hag, this time slightly more turquoisey. Long grey hair. Right. That brings us back to Lady Harlock, who's going to tackle Enya and try and grapple the baby. That would be an 11 versus a 14. Enya manages to throw Lady Harlock back, unable to really get hold of the baby as Enya sort of turns to the side and shrugs her off.
The baby is no longer being held over the cauldron.
Yeah, she's sort of trying to hold it there, and it's kind of iffy at the moment.
There's a struggle going on, but she can't wrestle her away and hold it precariously over the...
Yeah. So basically, she had to bring it closer to herself to be able to shoulder her away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just making sure.
I mean, if it was to be dropped right now, there's a small chance it'd end up in the cauldron, but not massive. Just depending on how it drops during the conflict.
How big is this cauldron?
It's a big cauldron. We're talking, almost about a meter diameter.
Okay.
That is actually quite a big cauldron, yeah.
Yeah.
And how is it held up?
It's a couple of metal spikes that drew into the ground with a circle of iron the cauldron's put on top of, and underneath it there's a bit of a fire going, a little bit of a pit.
So it's like got a metal bracket essentially on that? It's not suspended or anything like that?
No, this is a metal bracket.
All right. Okay. Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Okay. So I can either try and hold person Enya, which is probably not going to work, or I can try and kill Pandora, which probably also isn't going to work, but is going to get her a heck of a lot closer.
One of my wisdom is.
Oops. Sorry, wrong button. Wrong window. Get over there.
Oops.
All right.
Agree?
I'm working on it. Let's go to... stupid lightning bolts. All right, whatever. And I will once again cast Magic Missile at Pandora.
Okay.
Because honestly, I care more about killing these than the baby living. I care, I do, but greater good and all that.
Indeed. Not too bad. 8.
11.
How would you like to do this one?
Oh, thank God.
Quickly.
So Bree looks over, focuses her mind, looks at Pandora, and throws her hand forwards, and out of it shoot 3 bolts that all twist and circle in midair before colliding with Pandora in the chest, blowing her ribcage open and knocking her backwards, and she falls down dead. This horrible stench fills the room. Pandora is no more.
Was it Enya or Diana or Diane that was talking to me before that kept trying to polymorph me and stuff like that?
Diana tried to polymorph you and said, let's try and do this again. Something like that.
Great.
Diana's not particularly hurt right now, but Enya is pretty badly injured. She's got chunks of flesh missing, and...
I turn to Diana and say, and then too. Ooh.
Fair play. Right, Melfas.
All right. Well, Tulips goes straight after me, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Right, Malphas is going to move all the way, like, 25 feet here, then 5 feet over there. Well, actually, no, I can effectively, I'll move 5 feet there, and then 25 feet over here. So I'm basically stood near Pandora's corpse. Should give me good line of sight on the others. And as I move past, I'm saying, Tulips needs some help. You know, he's limping. He's very clearly about to fall over. But, you know, in the moment, there's enough adrenaline to keep him going. But it's clear that that is literally the only thing keeping him running right now. And the child is no longer held suspended over the cauldron, is that right? The mother and Enya are basically fighting over it?
There's a small chance that the child might end up in the cauldron if it was dropped right now, but mostly it's being sort of rugby held away from Lady Harlock.
Okay. And Enya has advantage to hit on her?
What do you mean?
Fairy Fire?
Oh, yeah, Lady Harlock's outlined by Fairy Fire.
And Enya?
And Enya is,
Okay.
outlined. All the hags are outlined by Fairy Fire. They all failed.
Right, well, again, as whilst there is a small risk, Malphas is going to count on Lady Harlock's reaction save, hopefully catching the child, or at the very least throwing herself into the cauldron to prevent the baby from falling in there, you know, as a good parent should. And Malphas is going to shoot at Enya. And he got a 17, an 11 plus 6.
BRB.
You just hit.
Oh,
okay.
Goodness. All right, so that means 4d6. Oh, not a bad roll, actually. 19. So 6, a 3, a 5, and a 5.
How do you want to do this?
Okay. She's holding, I imagine, the baby with one arm. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's going to shoot and try and pin her arm to her body and knock her back from the cauldron when he does it. So the baby's
Okay, so-
in the forearm. He's aiming to just pin her bicep to her body and knock her back.
Pin her bicep. Okay.
Yeah, pin her arm in such a way that she doesn't just cast the child down onto the ground or into the cauldron.
Okay, so pin her arm. You want basically as she goes to sort of rugby ball the baby into her arm, and she brings her arm up. Your arrow sinks into her hand.
Oh, wherever, yeah.
Straight into the middle of her chest. Baby held in the crook of her arm, penetrating straight into her heart with this arrow at close range, and she just collapses forwards, bounces off the cauldron. Lady Harlock uses her reaction just to grab the baby off of the bodies that she falls.
Excellent.
Dead. I'm gonna just let them trade places because of the way they will have fell.
Thank goodness.
And that's Enya down.
One more.
Tulips is gonna look at Melfast, look back at Short, look at Melfast, and sorry, he's gonna run over to Short. And it's gonna healing word, healing cure wounds, which is very minimal. But Short is now alive.
Malphas was willing to forgive the whole horn thing, but now it's off. Now that's it. Bro's no longer.
Oh dear. Short's gonna dash.
Funny thing is, Brystone would have healed me. Bloody E. Taking liberties with Brystone's character.
Lady Harlock dashes with the child to keep it safe. Rhaegar moves in. Critical hit.
Ooh.
Fail. So many twos tonight. I don't know what it is. Jim. 2 hits.
Wait, did Rhaegar hit her with a critical hit, did you say?
Rhaegar does 16 points of damage.
Nice.
And then Jim does...
Come on, Jim. Avenge your daughter.
4 and 8.
Oh, man, Jim, that's not going to avenge anyone. You clearly didn't
Oh, no,
like
plus
her.
raging. So that's 6 and 10. Okay. That brings us to Bree.
I know this will all surprise you. Shocking as it is, I'm going to cast Magic Missile.
No.
If you want to target a single target, might be Firebolt's better.
No.
Okay.
Also, I don't.
Oh yeah, you need to roll with Firebolt, don't you?
I'm gonna bring Rhaegar back. So doing it at level 2, the black one's Rhaegar again.
Sorry, Rhaegar couldn't attack there because he's a cow.
Well, he'll be back to regular now, so.
Can't a cow attack? Because I promise you they can.
He's got a cow brain as well.
Yeah, and he's an angry cow.
Yeah.
He charges in a random direction, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Definitely a dairy cow.
Wait. Is Polymorphous concentration? Has Diana not taken any damage?
Oh yeah, she did. Good point. She passed both her concentration rolls. However, Rhaegar charges past Short, hitting Short. Short makes a dexterity saving throw. Critical fails. Short is now bleeding out again.
Oh, for goodness.
Okay, Bree. How many of these are targeting Rhaegar?
The black one is targeting Rhaegar for 3 points.
Okay, the cow gets hit with a bolt of magical energies.
12 to Diana.
Go up to Diana. Okay. 3 points to Calgar.
Oh,
he's
shit.
still a cow.
Cows get more damage.
Yeah.
That's why he said, "I want a HP sync" when I was querying the cow thing.
It's a fairly tight space to have an enraged cow running around.
Yeah, I know.
Malthus, your shot.
We need to wrap this up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
Malphad's just going to try and shoot Diana. Just a simple shot.
Okay.
Wait, also, she has to make another concentration check.
Oh, because the damage.
For each of the magic missiles, may it be noted. She just failed her first one. Calgar, Rhaegar.
Okay, now how do I use an inspiration dice? Do I just add that to my roll?
Yeah, D10.
Okay.
No, D6.
D6 is not.
Tulips.
Well, D6. So I'm adding this obviously to the 4. That's 5 brings it up to 9, which means that plus my 6 brings me up to 15.
15. Your arrow misses, I'm afraid.
Yep.
Jim hits. Jim hits again.
Didn't Jim just go with Rhaegar?
Yeah, but there we went through Bree and then you and then everyone else again.
Oh, right. Oh, okay.
Tulips is going to vicious mockery. She fails her wisdom. She is looking very badly hurt. Rhaegar's going to heal short, considering he was just Calgar and almost killed him. That brings us back to Bree.
Has Diana missed her turn?
Oh, sorry, Diana. He's feeling pretty badly hurt. He's going to attempt to unlock the door, which she fails. Bree.
I need to look up Flaming Hands really quick to make sure that I'm not going to burn anybody next to her if I use it.
Flaming hands or burning hands?
Sorry,
Flaming
Firebolt, actually.
Oh, right.
Firebolt. No, I believe it is a single target.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a single target.
Firebolt.
Yep.
Firebolt. Firebolt.
Firebolt. 2 words.
Oh, there we go.
Bolt of fire.
I assume it's like the broomstick. Nope, it's fine. It's just one hit.
Nice.
4d10.
So, 4d10 now?
Yep.
Very nice.
Let's just hope I roll well.
Oh, I'm sure you will. I have every faith in you.
Nope. 16 points.
How do you want to do this?
There we go. Thank goodness. Anxious in my chat has been going on. It's been an hour, Aavak. It's been an hour for the last several days.
What was that?
It was burn. It was the
burn.
burn thing. Burn.
Okay.
Burn. I want her to burn.
You fling the fireball at her, your hand arcing forward, this small streak of fire flickering out, which grows and it hits the target, and she suddenly bursts into flames, her entire ribcage burning out, her eyes burning out of her sockets, flames coming out of her face, and she turns into this outlined blackened skeleton that swiftly crumples to the floor. They're all dead.
Yay! Oh, God.
Everyone is alive?
Yes.
Just very badly burned.
Yes.
I'm gonna go.
Yep.
Okay.
That seems to
I
be
don't
it
have
now.
time to wrap the story up or anything.
Yep.
Sorry.
I'm just going to just wrap it up. The Harlocks, thank you. They each hand you, 300 gold pieces each. Jim is promoted to captain of the guard,
Yay, Jim.
and the tavern is demolished.
Oh.
Sorry to rush it at the end there, but we were a little bit over time. I hope chat enjoyed today's session.
Raylana refuses the money and lets the other 3 divvy it up.
Aw.
Says, I don't need this. I'm going home now.
Very well. Malphas seems a little bit saddened at the sudden breaking of the fellowship. And he kind of laments that it has failed in whatever grand quest it was. He just says, okay, goodbye. Keep in touch. And just takes the money. It's not going to turn it down. He's a rogue.
Fair enough. So thank you, everyone. I will go and read out some stream donations in a bit. But unfortunately, I'm afraid Anna has to leave. So hopefully...
sorry.
You enjoyed it.
Which way do I need to do this? There we go.
Anna,
that was a really messed up part. I'm blaming it on being a tiefling. Heart's a different shape.
Thank you guys for all the good charity donations throughout the Role4It campaign. We really all do appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for the wonderful times with the rolling of the dice and the rolling of the playing or something. Bye, guys.
Take care. Malphas will miss you, so will I. Okay, then.
I still need to remove the call. Bye, guys.
Take care. Well, that is going to mess all the cameras up, so I'm just going to turn them off for now. And on that note, go ahead and read out the donations.
Okay, I'm going to just switch to my camera then, because... can I switch to just my camera? Because otherwise it's all messed up.
Dunk.
No, I cannot switch to my camera.
You suck.
Oh, well, I know! I'll do my best. I'm going to just raise my head so I can see over the messed up cameras. Right, let us read some donations out. Let me just select this, make this disappear. There we go.
Good night, everyone in my chat who's stayed up well past their bedtime in order to see the conclusion of this. Sorry it couldn't be more of a grandiose affair, but thank you very much for staying all the same.
I still thought it was a pretty grandiose affair. I liked it. It was enjoyable. Well, today was a good session. Right, where did we leave off? Good to be back from the short hiatus. For plans and schemes in order of the... There we go. Mighty Rick, $20 in order of the final D&D stream. Also, Demon Illusion babies. The best kind of babies.
Very well.
Sith Forever, $10. Seeing as I rolled a natural 20, may as well. Thank you very much, Sith Forever.
Take it.
Dumb Blitzador, natural 20s will leave their legacy. Looking forward to Shadowrun.
Indeed.
I'm looking forward to Shadowrun. It's going to be so good. Hopefully with some news for you soon on that front. If you want to follow the Role4It Twitter, that'll have more information than my Twitter. My Twitter will retweet the important parts. And hopefully we'll give you some interesting insights soon. Craytill, $20. Thank you for the Role4It, and particularly for overrunning to bring us a conclusion this evening. The hags are making the boomsticks, right? No. I will probably explain that somewhere. Maybe I will do like a stream next week in which I will just say, look, this is...
No, leave it as a mystery.
But
No, you may have put all of that effort into it, but you're the one who's deciding that it has to end here. You scallywag. That's your punishment. You don't get to tell everyone. Lies. You're all like, I'm bored of this. I want to do Shadowrun now, because Shadowrun is all spangly and it has circuits and stuff.
It is though.
Actual quote. No, it's not really.
Dark Summers, $20. Null indeed. Thank you very much, Dark Summers.
Strong silent type.
Dumb Blitzador, $5. Ending this with a natural 20 couldn't be more appropriate. That is actually true. Poetically true. Thank you very much, Dumb Blitzador.
Very awesome.
But yeah, no. Do you want to say anything, Malphas? Aavak now, I guess?
Malphas can't say anything because he's a character in a game, in a campaign that is now discontinued. But Aavak can say something, and that is #BlameEE.
Damn it.
You opened yourself up for that one. But no, thank you very much, everyone who's donated. It has been really, really fun taking part in this. Obviously, towards the end, there were a few skipped streams just unfortunately, people were ill and stuff. But I think everyone left this. I mean, I can't really talk for them, but I think I can a little bit. It's been a really, really fun time. So quite sad to see it end, honestly.
Yeah, it was.
But hopefully
really...
everyone enjoyed watching and joining us on the journey.
Yeah. we had a lot of fun. It was, I mean, we raised something like, I don't know, $12,000 for charity.
Yeah.
Great causes. Thank you so much. And we even have a final episode piece of fan art by Tin Min.
Oh,
I need to show this on
I'm gonna
stream.
need to
This is
see.
amazing. Save image as fan art.
Kyloid Jones. They did a fan art as well.
Oh, where's that one? Is it linked with the tag?
Yeah, at Role4It.
Like that.
That's fantastic.
I'll save these, and
Scarlet and Squishy are there as well, and Aramil, and Wolf's there. Oh,
the team's back together.
no, they're not. They all ran away.
Oh,
Victory for Melfast, though. He was the only one that was there at the beginning and at the end. Ha! Take that, everyone.
true. This is actually very true.
The only one. The only one.
Um,
Also, his player was the only one that was always here. True facts. Also.
I was always here.
You're not a player.
Kaloid Jones. A goodbye picture. Goodbye. I'll send this horrible picture I made. Oh, thank you very much.
It's not horrible. It's awesome.
Pretty good. I like the Squishy and Scarlet.
Yes.
Down
Very
the bottom,
cool.
dagger like sword things on top of the nice badger. Oh, Wolf Slayer swinging upside down with a giant sword. And I think we have Tin Min's art.
That is awesome art.
Amazing.
I shall retweet it for anyone who is interested and is watching my stream. Just go check my Twitter.
So good. Absolutely gorgeous.
There we go. That is wonderful.
Oh, the cow sets would have been under cattle, are they?
I imagine so.
They're not in the main rulebook. They might have been in the back of the monster manual, but I honestly don't really mind about a few hit points. It was safe to say it was a hit point sync. But yeah, thank you so much for your support. We will be continuing in a few weeks' time. It won't be next week or probably the week after, or maybe in the week after that. It's going to be a little gap of about a month. But we will be continuing, and hopefully better and fancier and even shinier than before. I'm looking forward to that.
Indeed. But that does sound like the natural wrapping up point, I'm afraid.
So, Aavak, where can people check you out until the next Shadowrun?
They can check me out in all the usual places. That is youtube.com/Aavak. Twitter, I am at Aavak_, and on Twitch, just Aavak. Aavak, most places, really. Just Aavak. Nice and simple. Where about you, EE? Where can they find you?
youtube.com/Enterelysium, twitch.tv/Enterelysium, twitter.com/Enterelysium. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
I'll be streaming loads and loads.
Also,
and
just
loads
follow the trail of blame EE hashtags. They'll eventually lead back to him.
Yeah, pretty much always, yeah. And I'll be streaming from 6 p.m. tomorrow night GMT, 1 p.m. EDT, 10 a.m. PDT, some more XCOM 2, and we'll be going for, hopefully, I'm aiming for like maybe even a 12-hour live stream if I can manage it, over release window for the game. And we'll plow on, see if we can even finish the campaign in that time.
Woohoo!
But yeah, thank you for everyone for coming along. We've appreciated the support and so on. And Shadowrun will be up fairly shortly. I will probably stay a little bit after Aavak goes, just to answer a couple of questions about Shadowrun. There's a lot of stuff we haven't got nailed down, but just people wondering a lot about the world I see in chat and so on. So I will probably stick around for just 5-10 minutes to answer some questions. Unless you're bored, Aavak, and want to stay too.
No, I'm never bored. I'm always busy.
Yeah, thought so.
Alas. But this is farewell, I'm afraid. So thank you very much once again, everyone who has joined us, and for all of the amazing art that we've received, all of the donations, all of just the views. Honestly, just showing up, whether you could donate, whether you were creative or anything, just the laughs and fun that we've seen in the chat. It has been a rare pleasure. But that is it from me. So take care, everyone.
And
Never blame Aavak.
it's not.
Doesn't work. No, blame EE flows. Do you know why it flows? Because it's true. True fact. Take care, everyone.